Hi, Dan Stephen Erickson here, songwriter, and today I wanted to talk about my mandolin. This is a Mid-Missouri mandolin that I bought somewhere around 2004, 2005. Mid-Missouri is no longer in existence, but the same guy, his name is Mike Dulock, is still making the same mandolins. They're just called Big Muddy mandolins now. When I bought this mandolin, actually, let me go back. Little story. So, I lost a daughter in Missouri that was stillborn. I always thought it would be neat to buy a instrument that's custom made in Missouri in her honor, right? And so about the time my second daughter was born, or shortly before, I had this made for me. But I had met Mike when his factory, his luthier shop, was in Springfield, Missouri, and it was under the name of Mid-Missouri Mandolin. And I, talked to him, and he told me he'd give me a discount if I custom ordered one from him. And so a few years later, I did. So that was in like 2001 when I met him in Springfield. A couple years later, when about 2004, early 2005, shortly before my second daughter was born, I called him up and I said, hey, could you still make me one of those mandolins? And he said, yeah, sure. He says $500. At the time, I think this model, which I think is either his number 3 or number 4 model. He's got more now, but what does it say? It might say right in here. It's an M3. So it's an M3. So it's his M3 model, and he made this for me. But when I went to pick it up, he was no longer in Springfield. He was in Rocheport, Missouri, which is right by the river, which I suppose is part of the reason he changed the name to Big Muddy. I think another part of the reason is there was some kind of lawsuit, and he needed to diverge himself from the Mid-Missouri name. So he changed it to Big Muddy. I don't know that story, so I don't want to, make too many assumptions, but I do know that there was something going on in that regard. So let's talk about the mandolin a little bit. One thing that's really cool about this Mid-Missouri mandolin is it's made out of all solid woods, and for the price tag of $500, now they go for about $800 to $1,000. But for the price tag at the time, or of course he gave me a little discount, but $500 at the time, that's a pretty dang good deal for a mandolin that's all solid woods, right? Mahogany and probably a spruce or cedar top. Not sure there. But it's a great little instrument. It's got good sound. Just tuned it up a little bit ago. Still sounds like it's in pretty good tune. I've never had any major problems with it. I'd had to play with the bridge a little bit once in a while. I had a time where it kind of had some dead frets for a little bit, and then they went away, and they never came back. That was like, I don't know, 10 years ago. So I'm not sure what happened there, other than maybe some weather issues at the time. But it's a great little instrument. I'm by no means a mandolin player. I can play a mandolin, but I'm not really a mandolin player, if you know what I mean. And over the years, because I finger pick the guitar, I've come to mostly strum and finger pick the mandolin rather than using a pick. I can use a pick if I'm going to do a bunch of tremolo or real fast picking stuff, which is not really my forte, but I could use the pick. But I tend to play the mandolin with my bare fingers. I did a recording of 12 songs on this mandolin early on when I first started the channel earlier this year. And unlike all the other playlists on the channel, those 12 are meant to be an album. They were all written earlier this year, recorded earlier this year. I sequenced them in the way I thought they would be good on an album. So they're all meant to be an album. So it's like a demo of a potential album. And you can go listen to that very easily just by going to the playlists here on the channel and looking for the mandolin playlist and listen to those 12 songs. Who knows, maybe I'll do something with those in the future. If not, at least I've got them recorded somewhere. All right, so this is the Mid-Missouri Mandolin. It's very close to my heart because I bought it in honor of my first stillborn daughter, Angel Hope. And I bought it in Missouri because that's where she is buried. Rocheport, Missouri is where I picked it up. I went and picked it up in person. After meeting him a couple of years earlier in Springfield, I went to Rocheport on another trip and picked it up. And so I've had this thing for, gosh, about 20 years now, maybe a little over. And it's been a good little instrument. I don't play it all the time, but when I do, I love it. It's fun to play a mandolin. All right, anyway, I'm Dan Stephen Erickson. I'm a songwriter, and I usually play songs on this channel, but sometimes I just like to show you a little bit about my instruments, talk a little bit about songwriting process, etc. You can follow the channel by hitting that subscribe button, and you can go to my website at danstephenerickson.com if you want to learn more about me. Until next time with another song, you all have a great day.